of our ladies. That is Mercedes had blessed us with her relish. And
I have some.
isn't it?
Love it.
I love it. I love it. And we're gonna go Facebook Live. Are you okay with that? I know you are, but I just like to make sure that people know that it's on.
I'm gonna play the ID and then intro you.
Okay.
Of course.
Just let them know once Mercedes come in for her to just come right in. You guys going to Ray James tonight?
I'm not gonna make that.
Okay.
Well, let me know how it goes. Oh, but today is Jerry Livingston Day for me.
All right, how you guys doing out there? Hello, it is your girl, Sheila L. Brown. For the month of March, every Wednesday between 5 and 6, I will have the pleasure of interviewing some fantastic women in the community and learning some hidden facts about them. We know them in their profession, but we want to learn who they are when they're not actually in that professional seat. And this week we have in the studio Ms. Mercedes Wilson. Mercedes is going to be on her way, but she is the television host for Channel 7 ABC. She's a producer, content creator, food entrepreneur. When I tell you I love her relish, we are giving every woman who's on the round table the month of March some of her relish. So she'll be in a minute, but we do have in the studio already my girl, Ms. Leah Holton Pope. She is the Ellicott District Councilwoman, newly elected councilwoman, but is nowhere near shy to politics. She has learned from some of the best that's out there. How are you, my smiley sister?
I'm well. How are you?
I am good in this March. Women History Month, you know, it's so amazing that they set aside a whole month for women. And I just love that idea.
I mean, personally, it's 365.
Yes, it is.
But
It is.
I'll take a month.
But I'll take them up. I love the ideal that, you know, you can go on any social media platforms, you can go in any stores, and it's talking about women.
Yes.
And I love that because we're such nurturers to who we are as a human being.
Absolutely.
So I know we know the cuff of who you are, and we're going to get into that a little bit. But I want to know, since you've been in that seat, driving the steering wheel yourself, because you've been in politics, right?
Yes.
And you were holding the ladder for other people.
Yes.
So now people are holding the ladder for you. You're actually in that driving seat. You know, what are two top priorities that you would like to see happen, and why?
So I'm honored to be. First off, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming.
I'm so honored to be here. Yes, for this Women's History Month, and to represent the Ellicott District is a big honor. To also be majority leader is huge, and I call myself the baby majority leader. You know, because you got the big majority leader People Stokes.
Yes.
So those are big shoes to fill, and the Ellicott District is so diverse and it's so big. But it's really reflective of the city as a whole. And some of our needs, well, not some of our needs are the same as the rest of the city, the rest of the state, these diverse and socioeconomic backgrounds, education, ethnicity, etc. And so the desires of having affordable housing, that's a priority. But not just affordable housing, making sure that housing is equitable. So people who are renters, they want to be able to stay in their communities if you're a renter, but then you should be able to, if you're a renter, there should be something that comes back to you.
Okay.
So if Mrs. Jones has been staying there for 20, 30 years, what is she getting for it? There should be something. So
because you didn't pay someone's
you've been
mortgage.
paying rent.
Yeah.
You've been paying mortgage, right? Not just to you. You bought pretty much the whole building. So my thought is, can we start having some equity come back to her or her family members? So if you're $800 a month, can it be $850, and that $50 goes into an interest-bearing account? So then after 5, 10, 15 years cannot become tuition or cannot become a down payment on another property or something like that for you or your family members in the long term. If that property were to switch and become a co-op or a condo, then there becomes some ownership.
Now, has that ever been done in
Not
the
locally.
Western New York area that
No.
we know of?
They tried to do co-ops before, but I think if you don't put financial literacy in, so when we develop, and there's a lot of vacant land, there are some infill housing, but if we don't put some financial literacy as part of that, then we'll create a form of recidivism where we don't make sure that people can survive and it's sustainable. So I think that needs to be part of it. The other thing is stabilizing our neighborhoods by also focusing on our small businesses and making sure that those businesses are thriving and growing. And I'm also
And when you say small businesses, because I think so many times people use that word, what would be the yearly income that small business had to
I
make,
think that-
and how many employees?
I think it depends, right? So I'm also chair of the MWBE committee for the city council. And so when I think of a small business, I think it depends on the business, how you're starting. So I'm thinking of a very small startup that's just beginning. You're like a mom and pop, you're just starting off, a young entrepreneur who's just starting off maybe e-commerce to a brick and mortar store, or maybe it's not an actual store, maybe it's a professional services that you're offering. I'd like to see more of us going, because my district literally runs from Elmwood Village all the way to Genesee Moselle. It's a very diverse district. I want to see us focusing on creating synergy between the east and the west sides of Main Street, and getting people so that if you live in Elmwood Village, you're reaching out to somebody who's east of Main Street for your services. That if you need a lawyer, you're not necessarily just sticking in your neighborhood, you're considering somebody that's on the east side that is an attorney, and that's the person you're contacting. Because that's how we grow our community, that's how we grow our businesses, and that's what neighborhoods look like. That's what community looks like, by focusing on that. So I can't really say that a business is just 1 or 300 people. I think it just depends on the business that you have. And so when I say supporting them, it's everything from brick and mortar to your at-home business to professional services to a thriving company. I had a great conversation today about people in a construction business and getting them engaged. I had no idea that today you can become unionized, that you can get into the labor, and that can get you contracts and government contracts, etc. No idea that was possible. I thought you had to go through a long process. I didn't know. I've been working in government for over 20 years. Nobody ever told me that.
See.
So just finding a way to create synergy, these things I think help create a thriving community and help stabilize our neighborhoods and build them up and create what we really want to see in the entire city of Buffalo. And because we're so diverse, because we have so much to offer, because we have so many different cultures and ethnicities, and I think we have a unique opportunity here in the city of Buffalo, and I think Ellicott, right in the middle of it, gets to be that beacon of light.
Well, I love it because the radio station, we sit right in the middle of the Ellicott district.
Right
So,
in the middle, right in the historic
yes,
Michigan Street corridor.
exactly. So, I'm really glad to see what you're doing in the Ellicott district. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
So I'm glad we got to cuff on who
bit.
you are on the professional side. Now let's talk about who Leah is as a person.
Okay.
What do you like to cook?
So it just depends on how much time I have in the day.
Okay.
So it's cold today. I probably would prefer some soup because I'm freezing.
Oh, the weather, yeah.
Yes. So I like a good creamy soup. I like a chicken gnocchi. I know, it's so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what made me start liking to try it one day. It was
Okay.
just one winter day. I decided I wanted some. So I'll make a soup, or sometimes I'll do comfort food, but
I like a good comfort food, especially on a day like today in Buffalo.
Yeah, but I'll do a thick, like a good creamy soup that'll just kind of stick to me. Yeah.
So next time you make some, you got to bring me a bowl.
I will.
Okay? You got to bring me a bowl.
Or
So,
some chili. That could be good too.
oh, chili could be good, yeah. Some good crackers.
Yes.
I like that. So what's a formula? You had a lot of wins in your life. What's your formula to win?
I don't stop at no. I think you have to keep going. As women, especially as women of color, you can't stop just because somebody says no. Or I grew up in a household where we couldn't use the word can't.
Yeah.
It's just I haven't figured out how yet. And so my mom jokes and she says, 'cause my niece does this all the time now, and she's 8. Like, let me think about this for a minute, and that would be my process. Like, let me just think. Give me a second. Let me
Without
figure
just
it out.
throwing it out there.
Yeah, let me
that.
just think about it for a minute, and let me strategize in my head first. And so I think the winning strategy is, one, to surround yourself with really smart people, and it's okay to have people smarter than you around you.
And the
That
Bible
makes you
says, bring wise counsel around you.
Absolutely.
So I like that.
You have to have people smart around you. I think that's a winning strategy. Planning for every single scenario, trusting your intuition, that God intuition inside of you. I think that's really important. Don't be afraid of that voice that tells you, no, that's not the right move. Don't step too soon, even if other people are saying, oh no, you have to do this. No, if you're not feeling that that's the right move, be smart about that.
I like that.
I think sometimes we jump too soon or too late because of other people's fears or uncertainty when you know that this is the right move. And this leap for me was a big one. And I can't say everyone has been an easy one, but it's been the right one. And I have no regrets because I followed the path that I was supposed to take.
Yeah. So God says that each and every one of us has a special talent
Absolutely.
inside of us, right? Do you ever ask yourself, how did I get here?
Every day.
Yeah, I know. I do the same thing. Like, okay, God, you know.
Every single day. I question the path, and then over time, I think you start to see it. I don't know about you,
I think it's levels.
Yeah.
I when I first got into radio in 1986, then when I brought the station in 2013, then when we got WIGO in Atlanta and where I am now, I think it's levels to success.
Yeah.
And that's where I find myself.
I never would have imagined that I'd be in this seat at this point now. When I first moved back to Buffalo, it was for a relationship, and it failed miserably. It was bad. It was hard. It was bad.
See, these are the hidden facts that I want to grab out of the woman.
But it's true.
I love it. Yeah.
It was hard. It just wasn't the right timing. I don't know what it was. It just wasn't good. And but it was a commitment that I made, and I was like, well, I'm here, and God, if I'm supposed to stay here, then let me do something really positive for my city and my state. Like, when I left Buffalo, my dad was still alive. My whole family was still here in Buffalo. By the time I came, everybody was gone. My dad had passed away. My mom had remarried and moved away. All of my siblings were gone. So literally, I was the only person here. When things were rough, I would go to my dad in the mausoleum to sit there. That was where I went for solace and peace. And so it was a challenge. I never could have imagined that this would be my path, and the job I applied for, oddly enough, the first job I applied for was for Roswell Park as a director of government relations. I was arrogant and thought that nobody else had. I did. I thought that nobody else would be able to do what I could do. Nobody has this experience. Nobody has federal experience. So arrogant. Oh my God.
I love it. Stay right there. We're going to go to a break. If you're just tuning in, I am your girl, Sheila L. Brown. We are doing a special Women History Roundtable, and I have in the seat our new elected Ellicott District Councilwoman, Ms. Leah Houghton Pope herself. And on the other side of the break, we're going to ask her some more unhidden questions that you guys might know about her. You always see this good, bright smile on her, but this girl's so smart. I'm like, stay on here this half, the next half. We might keep you here for a while. So on the other side of the break, we'll be back to you. Yeah. So we'll
I
come
was
back.
so arrogant. I'll never forget that.
I love it. My
I did.
Facebook family. How y'all doing?
Hey, y'all.
I hope y'all enjoying my girl over here in the seat. Leah, what you want to say to the Facebook family?
Hey,
today?
y'all. Don't be arrogant.
Don't be.
For the record, I did get that job many years later.
You're right. I love it. I love it. So if you guys are on Facebook and if you are in the city of Buffalo, make sure you tune to us. Power965radio.com is the website. On the dial is 1080 on your AM dial or 96.5 on the FM. So we have some promotional events coming up. We have our Mother's Day luncheon. Well, before that, we have our 7 Last Words next Friday on the airways starting at 1 o'clock. If you want to be blessed by the Lord, please tune in. Tell your family. If you have a prayer request that you need, call the hotline 716-834-1080, and we're going to have some prayer warriors here to pray with you. Then the next day, we're going to bless the babies. We're going to be at Mount Olive Baptist Church. We got over 150 bags ready for them. Easter eggs, plastic eggs. Hardboiled. You was there last year. Were you there last year with us?
Was it? I don't remember.
Were you there? No. I'm trying to think. So if you're not, you got to come this year. Help us hide some eggs for the kids, right?
I'll hide some eggs.
Yeah. So then, guys, come on with us. We're going to Detroit April the 10th. We're leaving here 8 a.m. in the morning. We're going to Detroit. We're going to Motown. We're going to Child's Right Museum. We're going to go eat. We're going to do a little shopping. Then we getting back on the bus. And we coming. It's my time to go back on the radio. Stay with us, Facebook. Oh, 30 seconds. I can get a lot in 30 seconds, y'all. And after we do Detroit, then we have our Mother's Day luncheon. It's our annual Mother's Day luncheon. It is over 25 years old. It will be at Salvatore's Italian Gardens. And this year it's going to be May 5th. It's on a Sunday, 1 o'clock. So everyone who's used to going to our Mother's Day luncheon, it's usually the day before. I'll come back. All right, y'all, I am back. It is your girl, Sheila L. Brown. If you were on the other side of the break, you probably heard me talking to Leah Houghton Pope. You know, I always get tongue-tied with the Houghton and the Pope and the three, you know. I used to have all my names, and then I had to kind of drop some of them. I'm like, okay.
My daddy didn't have
I
any
love
boys.
it. Yeah. Oh, and had no
It
boys.
was all girls.
Aw.
So I'm keeping
I
Halton.
love that.
I gotta be
See, I
Halton
should have
for
kept
life.
Holloway in there. I dropped Holloway because I had Sheila Lynn Holloway Brown. And I was like, okay, I might need to drop some. So
I had to keep Halton.
I love it. Well, she is our newest elected Ellicott District Councilwoman. Are you the first woman in
No,
that seat?
actually, Barbara Miller Williams was the very first woman to represent Ellicott. She's the
Really?
first woman to be the controller as
How
well.
did I not know that? I knew she was controller, but never knew she was Ellicott.
She was the very first woman.
They said Mercedes Wilson is here. She is coming in the studio.
Excellent.
So good. As Mercedes comes in, I want to know, how do you see your future as Ellicott District?
Well, how I hope to see
Come
it.
on, Mercedes. How are you?
My hope is that that I leave it better than I found it, and that the footprints that I leave, I'll say it like my dad told me, my job is to be the thermostat and not the thermometer, that I change the temperature. And so that the Ellicott District, when my time is up, whenever that is, that it is stronger, it is better, that it is what changes the entire city for the better. And so that I hope that that not just the district, but the city, the council itself, because with myself and my colleagues and Etta, that we've made a positive impact, that our council looks more like us, to have more women on it, that we have more women even in the leadership roles. I'm the only woman there. I'm the only person of color in leadership, which means I don't just represent Ellicott, I represent all of us. And so that means something to me. And so I hope that I help young girls to see that anything is possible, that they see themselves, that they see that they can do anything, they can be anything, they can go anywhere, and that they take somebody else with them.
I love it. I love it. Mercedes
Hi.
Wilson, how are you?
I'm good.
You
Okay.
doing well?
I'm well, but first I'm going to apologize because
No.
I don't like being late.
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're
We're
busy.
just talking.
We're busy. So, we just going back and forth until we good. Well, I do have in the studio Ms. Mercedes Wilson.
Yes.
She is a television host for Channel 7, ABC. She is a producer, content creator, a food entrepreneur, and all of our women for Women History Month is going to get a jar of her relish. And her relish can be found at Lexington Co-op, Tops,
Yeah, like a district.
Wegmans, Dash. You know,
district.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Right? So we're gonna just go on and on. We're gonna close out of all the places that the relish. It has become my favorite snack.
Thank you.
That relish with some chips.
Yes.
Girl, it's on.
Yes.
If you have not had a chance, guys, at the end, we're going to tell you where to get it.
Yes.
I want you guys to get the relish. Go on Facebook, tag Mercedes, tell her what have you put the relish on.
Oh, that'd be great.
I didn't know that you had cabbage relish.
Oh.
Yes, this is cabbage based.
I had no idea, but I had the one from Lexington that was all cabbage, and I was like, oh,
Yes,
this
yes.
was good.
All of them are cabbage based, and if anybody is from down south, you know, my grandma called it cha-cha.
Cha-cha.
Mhm.
That was
Cha-cha.
it.
Yes, mine
That's
too.
my
Yes.
grandma. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Put it in the greens.
Yes.
That's what they did.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
love
Mercedes, thank you so much for coming, being part of the round table.
Yes, thank
Really
you for having
enjoy
me.
it. You know, this is a day for us to ask unhidden questions that most people might not know
Yeah.
about the Mercedes Wilson, right?
Yeah.
But before then, I want to ask you, what is 1 to 2 main keys to any business success? Because you have done so much, not just your relish that you started. You're an entrepreneur. You have your own book out. You overcome cancer. You started your own gala with cancer. You got so many things that you got going on, along with a husband, twins, and 2 other children.
Lord have mercy.
So I know, because I got the same thing, twins, husband. I know the
Yes.
feel.
Twin mom.
Twin moms.
Yes.
The power of it. I love it. So what are 2 main keys to your business success?
Number 1 is family. And it's a struggle because, you know, for us to try to do it all, it's tough. And to give something your all, something else is lacking. You got to be on the same page with your spouse. And my husband and I kind of balance it off. Like my twins are doing homework right now. And so it's a family thing. And we kind of view it like basketball. Everybody has their role on the team. So we help each other out. So it's family. Number 1, because if I succeed in everything I do and my family is not intact, I have nothing. So that's number 1. And then number 2, treat people right.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Your employees are your biggest promoters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this generation that is coming after us, guess what? They care about how you treat your people.
They sure do.
And they will report it and they will put it out there and you will lose your business.
Because you have so much social media content that it used to didn't be. When I first got in the industry, we didn't have social media, Facebook, Instagram. We didn't have all that. When we were growing up, you know, you had a piece of paper, check the X if you want to do whatever after class or whatever. We didn't have all of that.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, be careful how you treat people. And people can read through when it's not
They
real.
can.
So if you try to fake it, I think that's equally as bad.
Yeah.
But be careful how you treat people and be genuine.
I like that.
I think those are the top.
Your authentic self.
Two
Yeah.
good keys.
Yeah.
2 good keys. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So the Mercedes that, you know, we might not know. How do you handle no's?
Ooh, you know what? So I have a sales background.
Yes.
So when you tell me no, I work in averages. So I knew in sales, when I was in corporate sales, I knew it on average it was about 10 no's before I got to a yes.
Yes.
So when you tell me no, I'm counting down how many left
Till
I
I get to
have
that
before
yes.
I get to a yes. That might be really bad.
But it's true.
But I work in averages. Because you can't let the no's get you down. If you do, you will stay there and you become stagnant. Especially in business. So I may hear no from you. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, that's okay, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Because somewhere down the line, that yes will be big. And then someone will go, okay, so remember that talk we had? Maybe you want to, and that's what I experience in business. Or people watch you, and they see, is she operating with integrity? Is she quitting? And that's what happened a lot with the relish, or a lot of other things that I've done. So the no's, sometimes they want to watch. Sometimes it's just God building you up.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just the law of averages.
So let's talk a little bit about the relish.
Yeah.
How did that come about where you are in every major supermarket in Western New York eating? Every time I look, you're in another area within the supermarket RAM. Something that started in your kitchen, at your house. How did that come about?
My grandma.
Yeah.
My grandma. Her and my granddad had 11 kids.
Yeah.
Not much money. She fed the neighborhood. They had a big garden in the backyard. And this was one of the things she used to make. So when my dad and I were in the kitchen doing something for Channel 7, he taught me about the cha-cha. And when I made it for the segment, she didn't leave a recipe because they were just good.
Yeah,
They were just good.
Yeah, right.
She didn't leave a recipe, but my dad described it. So I made it, and everybody around me went nuts over it. And so I made a batch, took it to Niagara County Produce, and asked the owner if she would try it. And if you like it, would you sell it? And that's how it started. She tried it, called me like 2 days later. November 18th, 2021, it started in 2 stores in Niagara County Produce.
Wow.
That's how but it all started with my grandma.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
Now, how do you produce it? Is it a family? Does your husband, the children, everyone help in producing the relish?
I had to have a co-packer. Everybody was done talking to me.
They were
We was chopping so many vegetables.
That's what I know.
They was in the kitchen
I
chopping
had
so
a
many
kid's store,
vegetables.
so I know.
Yeah.
After a
They
while, they're
blocked
like,
me.
I'm done.
They blocked me.
Yeah.
So I have a co-packer out of Cheektowaga that produces them for me. We had to because in order for Tops to pick me up, I had to have a co-packer. They had to see that I had a co-packer, that I had a distribution company that I worked with.
So Tops was the first to pick you up with the relish?
Yes, the Tops the first major chain. I went and sat with them, told them my story, and they were like, you know what, we like your story. We started talking in February of 2022, and then May 2022 it launched.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? Don't you love that?
I do.
And I love the product. I love the
product,
story. I love everything about it. I love her smile, her charisma, how she just keeps going at it. And this is what Women History is about.
Yeah.
Is to show other women whatever is inking in your heart. You gotta birth it out.
Yeah.
You gotta do it. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
You know, we all gonna have some type of fear. And this is a question that I'm gonna ask both of you guys, because on the other side of the break we have 3 other women we're gonna be talking to, women in the nonprofit.
Yeah.
You know? How do you handle setbacks?
I think you take a break, you take a beat. I mean, I take the beat and I get back up and do it again. I don't let it, I breathe it in and then breathe out and keep it moving. I let it be whatever it's going to be. I don't necessarily let it define who I am. It's just a moment.
I like that. It's just a moment.
Yeah, it's not who I am permanently. It's just a slight moment, and it's not the end. So I started telling you about the relationship. It didn't define me. I thought it was a life-changing thing, and I thought that was the end, because I'd given up everything to move to back home to Buffalo. But it wasn't the end just because that moment happened. It was just the beginning, and I had no idea what God was setting me up for. Had I not moved back to Buffalo, I would not have taken the step. I would not have made that commitment to God that I'll stay here and I want to do something positive for my community. Had I not taken the step to do that, then I wouldn't have run for office ever. I wouldn't have. You never really know what opportunities get presented before you. And so I don't know. That's how I handle setbacks.
Yeah.
How about you, Mercedes?
Similar.
Yeah.
Take a step back, and I just kind of say, okay, what did I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And how do I reapproach it? And I never approach it the same.
Yeah. What are you
The
here to
same
teach
way.
me?
Yeah, so I never approach it the same way. Maybe there's a relationship that needs to be developed. maybe there's a mentor that I'm supposed to have to help. So I never approach it the same way.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I need to know, we have 1 more minute in
Yeah.
this segment, and on the other half, I have some nonprofit women that we're going to talk about, because that's a whole different
Yeah.
world for women. And you got some amazing women in nonprofit right now.
Mhm.
We do everything.
Right? I'm telling you, I love it.
Amazing.
I love
Yeah.
it. Right? So how would the listening audience reach both of you guys?
Well, I'm easy to find.
Okay.
You can find me in City Hall.
Right.
You can find me on social media, but in City Hall, I'm at 851-4980. You can find me on social media. You can find me, I'm just Buffalo Ellicott District or Leah Halton Pope. Either way, find me. Majority leader, Leah Halton Pope. Either way,
I
I'm
love it.
everywhere.
Okay.
Mercedes E. Wilson. I am not everywhere.
And I had to be. This is a job. Here's the light.
Right. It's the government.
You couldn't
Yeah,
afford
right.
that. But now you
All socials, Mercedes E. Wilson. I do work for Channel 7, so you can hit me at mercedes.wilson@wkbw.com. 716-930-9345.
So I say, Cicely Tyson once said, the path that you were on was designed for you and you alone. And both of you guys are on an amazing path right now. And I just wish you all of the kudos. And I say to Mercedes Wilson, thank you so much for allowing each and every one of the women to taste some of your relish. Some of them that might already be familiar with it.
Yeah.
Some of them that's not familiar with it. But all 26 women that's being interviewed this month is going to get a jar of it. And kudos to you for granting us with that to put in the gift bags for the ladies. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for asking. Try it with cheddar cheese.
Yes. See, I love it.
cheddar cheese.
In all of the places, I have Lexington Co-op, I have Tops, I have Wegmans, I have Dash. What's some of the ones that I'm missing?
East Aurora Co-op. It is in Market 32 in the Albany area. You said Lexington. You said
Yeah.
Tops. You said Wegmans.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it.
There's more.
It's more.
There's more.
It's so many
Yeah,
more. It's going to be in Atlanta, our station in Atlanta. It's going to be there next. So as you guys listening, don't worry. It's coming down to Atlanta real soon. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I say to my audience, hold on. We're going to go on the other side of the break. And I am coming back with 3 amazing women that will be in the chair.
Thank you. This is so good.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
I know. I love it. I love it.
I love